Now that we have our circle on our stage, if I click it once, it's going to select the fill. If I double click, it's going to select the fill and the stroke. So if I ever want to increase or decrease the size of the stroke or change the color, I would do so by double clicking, or I could drag a box right around the object, or last option, I could click on the frame itself and it'll select the object, and then I just have to select it to open up my layers or to open up my properties. So let's say I want to bring down the transparency, which is called alpha, of an object in Flash. I would just do it right here under alpha, and what that does is it creates like a see-through kind of film. So if you ever want to do that, you just have to select either the fill or you can select the stroke, and then just click on the color and bring down the alpha a little bit, and you're going to see that now I have a different kind of hue, like it's transparent, my shape. So that's important to realize. Sometimes you got to double click to select the whole object. Alright, so I have on my stage now, I have a circle. So on my new layer, I'm just going to select the line tool, and I'm going to make a white line, and I'm just going to make it, if I hold shift, it stays straight. So I'm just going to make a line like that in the middle of my stage, and I'm just going to shrink it down. Okay, so I have now a layer here with a line, and I have my circle. So if I ever want to, let's say, make this line fit perfectly along the stage, I could use my arrow keys to move it, but in this case, if I zoom right in, it's not really long enough. So the third tool here, it's your free transform tool in Flash. It's going to allow me to stretch out my shape, and it's going to snap it to the end for me. So now I have a line that goes all the way across my stage, and if I select it even more now, I can change the way that the stroke ends. So if I zoom in and I hit spacebar to move my stage across, so I'm just sliding it over. So if I have my stroke selected, I can have different ends to my stroke, as well as I could have different types of strokes for sure. So in this case, we'll just stay with that. Kind of have fun. So I have a line now on my stage. I want to make sure that this line is right in the middle of my stage, so 100%, not by my eye. So I'm going to select the stroke, and if I go Window, Align, it's going to open my Align panel, and I can align things to, like, I'm going to make my stroke a little wider, just so we can see. So I can align things to my stage. So now on one layer, I'm just going to rename it line. And on the other layer, I have circle. So I can hide my layers so that they're not seen, but it's only for this view. It's not for the final product. Example, in Flash, you have the ability to test your movie. So they are called movies in Flash. You're making kind of like a mini movie from a certain point of view. So if I hit test movie, it's going to show me what I have, and I can go view, and I can do like that, and it's going to show all of my clip. So if I hide these layers and I go control test movie, quick key control enter, they're still there. So these are only for working. Alright, so I have two layers. One layer is the line, the next layer is the circle. I am gonna start interacting. So I'm gonna make this circle just go to the other side of this line. Pretty basic. But there's a few fundamentals here that we really need to grasp. Alright, so I have the circle selected by selecting the layer, or I could have double clicked on it. Now, since I want to create an animation in Flash, we have to tell Flash that we're going to use this object to create an animation. So we just have to make what is called creating a movie clip. So I'm going to go modify, convert to symbol, and the type is a movie clip. My name, I can name this whatever I want. I'll name it circle, and I'm going to hit OK. So now you can see my object changed. I have a blue box around my what is now a movie clip. This is no longer the vector shape that I drew. I don't have access to the fill in the stroke anymore in the properties. I have a whole bunch of different options, and we'll get through those. So since this is now a movie clip, I have the ability to animate this because Flash understands that I want to do that. This line here is not a movie clip, it's just design. I cannot interact with this yet unless I would make it a movie clip. So I'll select the movie clip again. At the first frame, my circle is going to be up here. I'm going to go to the last frame. I'm going to click and select it with my left mouse button. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to go insert keyframe. I'm not going to insert frames. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Why a keyframe? Is there's going to be key information that is different in this frame than the previous keyframe in front of it, the one that precedes it. So if I hit insert keyframe, what it does now is it creates a keyframe just like the first frame with the circle. We're familiar with that. This little circle means keyframe. So now we've created another keyframe that replicates this 100%. You're going to ask yourself why? Well, all I need to do now is change some information on this keyframe. So I'm just going to change the position of the circle. At this keyframe, you're going to see that it didn't change the information at this keyframe. So basically, I have one keyframe at the top, one keyframe at the bottom. So that's it. Now, if I right click anywhere in between the two keyframes, very important, anywhere in between the two keyframes, if I right click and I go create classic tween, I think that tween relates to in between two keyframes. You're going to see my circle. You're going to see Flash is doing the necessary math to get my circle from one side to the next of the line. So if I go, this window is just like my workshop. I have to test the movie. So if I go Control, Test Movie, you're going to see my circle go across the line.